Extended Greeting, YouTube viewer. Warm welcome to another episode to talk about Transformers. Today we're going to be taking a look at the masterpiece movie series MPM07 Bumblebee. Before we get started, I got a couple of things to say. This is the first of a little series that I've been thinking about doing, where I take a look at something that came out a while back, but I pretend that it came out just now. We're going to call it What If Wednesdays, or something. We'll workshop it. But, so I'm going to be taking a look at this and the MPM 12 Optimus Prime. I'm going to be filming these on the same day. I don't know when they're coming out. I don't know what order they're coming out in, but they are coming out. And I'm filming them because I actually am selling them to my friend Jesse. So hi Jesse, this is coming your way, so you'll get to see all about it probably after you get it. The other thing I wanted to say is thanks to all of my subscribers. I believe I'm up to 110, which is a nice happy number for me because it's not zero. If you are not subscribed yet and you decide to subscribe by the end of the video, go ahead and let me know. I want to know which one of these travesties made you commit to me. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at Bumblebee's box. So here we have the box. You have Bumblebee as a car and a robot, and you have words and names in Volkswagen. Bumblebee, 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 Battle Mask, Bumblebee, and various weapony things, and Volkswagen, and Bumblebee, and Masterpiece, and blank, and a barcode. So yes, there's Bumblebee's box. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what's inside. For starters, out of the box, you get the instruction fold out. Tells you how to change them from robot to a car. It also shows the picture. The starting picture has the little chest headlights folded up like they are in the box. So, I mean, at least that's that. And for other accessories, well, I guess instructions aren't accessories, but for other accessories, you get his little knife arm blade thingy. It is molded in yellow with some black and gunmetal paint, and you've got the little Cybertronian looking writing on it, and that looks pretty good. You get the alternate face plate for the battle mask with the honeycomb in the eyes and some black and gray painted details. I'm not even in the center of the screen. What am I doing with my life? And you get his little Bumble honeycomb blaster. You got some nice orange paint down in there for the glowing gun effect, and some molded details that make it look like his fingers are transformed into the outside of the gun. You can take these accessories and plug them into each other. So you do have a tab on the sword that goes into a slot in the gun, and then how do you attach again? There's a little tab in the back of the gun that goes into the slot, so you just plug that in, and then you have a little weapon pack, and we'll show how to deal with that in the vehicle mode, how it plugs in. Alright, so here we have Bumblebee as he is out of the box, and we're just going to let him go and show you real quick. He falled over. So there's a couple of things we've got to do. We've got to fold his heels out, so he'll stand up. Hooray. And then we've got to fold these down in front of his chest. And there, he's ready to go, pretty much. Just fold the wings back, maybe. He does not come with the Autobot symbol on his chest. That is a label that I did apply there because I felt like it was appropriate. For some reason, it's appropriate for an Autobot to have a badge on the chest. Who knew? But here we have Bumblebee, and his robot mode. And as a movie accurate Bumblebee figure, this does not work because this is based on concept art. But as just a robot design of a Bumblebee that turns into a beetle, it looks pretty good from like the front body standpoint. And then you start to turn it around and you can see that he has a TMNT shell for some reason on his back. So this is Bumblebee crossover Ninja Turtles crossover Bayverse influence. That's what this figure is. But that's Bumblebee. A little quick 360 there for you. But you do have some nice details molded in. You do have nice paint work on the figure, headlights and such, and there is some metal parts that include these little shin guards I'm rubbing right here. It is warm out, but you can still feel the cold on the metal, and I don't want to name the technique because it is possibly trademarked. Come on, keep yourself together. But that is Bumblebee as a quick look in robot mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. Bumblebee's head is on a ball joint, so you can move it all over. You do have your 360 rotation, a little bit of tilt, not much up, and you don't get too much down either. Even if you start unplugging the chest moves forward, so you can't really use the hinge here either. It's meant to fold the other way. The shoulder can move out a little over 90 degrees. You can rotate back until you hit the backpack. You can rotate up until you hit the backpack. But if you move the arm out a little bit, you do get a full 360, which is actually the movement your arm will do if you try and rotate it anyway. You can't rotate it straight back. At least I can't. If you're more flexible than me, go ahead and tell me in the comments. For the bicep, there is a swivel cut just above the elbow joint for your bicep swivel. You do have 90 degrees of elbow articulation. The wrists are on a hinge for transformation, so you can move them in if you would like, and there is a rotation at the wrist. For the hands, you have individually articulated fingers at the base pin knuckle, but only the trigger finger has an additional knuckle hinge. You have a hinge at the thumb base, or a swivel, and then you've got a hinge at the knuckle. So there you have some decently articulated fingers. As for the torso, all you get is a waist swivel. It's not loose or anything, no ratchets, but it's not loose, so it works. Thigh articulation, you get out all the way on a friction hinge. You do get a ratchet for the forward and backward movement, can move back that far, and he can do a high kick. You do get a thigh swivel cut up here, so pretty good thigh swivel there. You get less than 90 degrees of bend at the knee. If you move this leg kibble, you can get pretty much a full 90. Just kind of have that out of the way of your knee bend there. Foot articulation, you get a pretty dang good pivot there, and you get another pivot down here if you want to use both of those to break his foot. And that's pretty much it, other than the tiny toe bend. Very small, very small. Alright, so we'll go ahead and show you how the accessories work. Now that we've got the articulation covered, we can show you why he needs it. So let's go ahead and fold this section of the head up, and you pull off his little forehead piece, put that down on the ground. It does tab in via this slot and a peg on the head, and you bring in the battle mask off your clump of weaponry. Go ahead and put that where it was, and then fold down the little head crest. There he's got his battle mask. There's not really anywhere for this to go unless you put it back on the weapon lump, and we're going to be using the weapons, so it's just going to lay there. As for the sword, it does plug on quite simply. You have a slot in his arm, you've got a tab on the sword, and you go ahead and plug those together. And then the gun is a little more complex than just plugging it onto his hand. You've got to get his fingers down in this cavity while getting his thumb inside of this gap. So I gotta remember how I do this. I think what I was doing was just leaving a little gap there and angling it on. There we go. And then you've got a tab and a slot connection that you plug together there. And there you have his gun on his arm, and it looks like it's transformed into the gun because you've got the molded finger details and the real fingers hide away. And so there he is with his gun, his battle mask, and his sword, all of the accessories. I haven't really found anywhere that I remember to store them in the robot mode, unlike the Studio Series version where everything could be stored. I could be wrong. It's actually been a while since I played with this, which is why I'm selling it to Jesse. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons. Here he is with the Voyager Leader Earthrise Kingdom Optimus Prime mold for your mainline kind of size comparison. There he is with Digivolving Spirits number 5 Alphamon. And there he is with the Owlbear Diceling. Alrighty, and that was Bumblebee in his robot mode. So let's go ahead and disarm him. And now that his only defense is innocently waving at you, go ahead and take a look at the transformation. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey guys, Editing Taco here. So I was partway through the transformation, and I was well after that disarming joke before I realized that there was a feature I forgot to talk about, and he technically still had a weapon. If you rotate these chest pieces up, you do get some missile racks in there, so he could still have done something to me, even though I took away all his other weapons. Sorry for missing that, and we'll get into the transformation. Alright, and after a transformation that's kind of, it's not bad until you're trying to get the doors together. It actually took me a few minutes because I haven't done it in a while. It ends up being this pretty nice looking Volkswagen Beetle. It is licensed on the box, so they've got to do it justice, and they have for the most part. I think that the weathering on the bottom looks pretty good, but it is kind of cut off with this panel. There's a fade here, but it just cuts here, so that could have been done a little better, in my opinion. You do have some nice details. What's that? Get off. You have some nice painted details on the front. You got little headlights and Volkswagen logos and stripes and whatnot. You got the little Volkswagen logo in the wheels there. Door handles, top of the car. The windows are not transparent, like clear. They're kind of a dark teal blue color maybe, or it might just be the yellow behind it, giving that greenish look to it through the blue. Either way, I like it. It's clear still, but it doesn't really show anything, because you can look at the bottom if you want to see a bunch of stuff. And there you have them from the bottom. It's all compact in there pretty good, and it all holds together pretty well. And he rolls. He rolls as the wheels ought to roll. If you come around here to the back, you've got a couple of pegs here, and you've got a couple of ports in the gun. Let's just pretend that mask stayed on the whole time, because I'm not going to fight with it. You've got a couple of ports on the gun, so let's just pretend that gun stayed in my hand the whole time, because I'm not going to fight with it. So you just plug the ports into the posts, and everything stayed in my hand, and everything stayed together the whole time. And you've got this little camper car weapon bundle on the car's butt, so that's your weapon storage for the vehicle mode. Again, Studio Series, it all stored inside somewhere, so that was kind of nice for that figure, which I don't have anymore. But at least there's some kind of weapon storage on there if you want it. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at some more of your size comparisons, and we'll wrap this thing up. Here he is with Prime, Alphamon, and Diceling. Alrighty, final thoughts wise, starting with the negatives. Don't like that I can't store the weapons in robot mode, slash alternate face, I guess, even though it's just an eyebrow. I don't like that I can't really store them in robot mode. Now, like I said, I could be wrong about that, but I couldn't be bothered to figure it out. I don't even know if anyone's going to bother watching this. But I don't like that you can't do that. I think that's probably mostly it. I mean, this isn't accurate to the movie, and I could cry about that, but it's also based on concept art, because it was rushed out to come out alongside the movie, so they didn't use the fully finished design. But that's okay. It's Bumblebee. He looks like Bumblebee. We can tell he's Bumblebee. He's kind of like if this was what Bumblebee looked like in the 07 movie, as opposed to the Bumblebee movie. So thinking about it that way, it's pretty good. He's got decent articulation. I think the knee is a little bit of a letdown, unless you move that kibble out of the way, then it's reasonable. And I think that the vehicle ultimately comes together pretty well, and it looks really good because it is licensed, so of course it is going to look really good. And the weapon storage in vehicle mode is kind of weird, but appreciated. And I think that's about it. So go ahead and comment on the video, and let me know if you like this look back kind of style. Hopefully I'll have the name, workshopped in my brain by the time I start filming the MBM12 review. And go ahead and give me a like and subscribe if you like the video. And again, if this video convinced you to stick around on my channel, I want to know. I am genuinely curious. I'll see you guys in the next review.